Are you ready to rock?
That's something I don't know.
That doesn't sound very rockin'. Siri.
My Siri's a square.
Oh, nerd.
The Brian Moote Show with Brad Nola. Here we have Brian Moote
This better not get me in trouble with my girlfriend.
and Brad Nolan.
No, my wife wants to flip the swinger switch.
Just two boys without man buns.
Sound like a real pansy-ass bitch in that one.
Who does?
Me.
You?
This better not get me in trouble with my girlfriend. I'm afraid. Actually,
I'm afraid. You know what? I'm afraid. I'm more afraid of my wife every week, so we're good.
Isn't that how marriage works? I feel
It's just a sliding scale of fear.
I feel like true love is just finding someone who just loves you enough not to murder you. You know what I mean? Like, you hit them to that point, and they're like, God, I'd kill you, but I want to make sure I outlive you.
Mine's got nothing to gain if I die, though. There's no life insurance.
That's a good point. I feel like my grandmother, by the way, it's the Brian Moote Show with Brad Nola. I think we came in a little weird.
And the person who said we came in weird, I disagree, is Brian Moote, and I'm Brad Nola.
Weird in a good way. I think my grandmother stayed alive for an extra 6 or 7 years just because she thought that by dying, the people that she hated and that hated her were going to celebrate. You know what I mean? And she just wanted to deny them that minute or that moment of happiness.
I will not lose this lifelong battle.
You can't celebrate my death. I refuse to die. But that's what you need. You need enemies in old age, I think. You need people to prove wrong. You need haters.
Yeah. I've just started building them early.
It's probably why Trump at 72 has the energy of a 18-year-old. Because of all the haters that fuel him every day. Just fueled by haters. The guy is 72 years old and is on Twitter, 18, 19 hours a day. I mean, it's 72. At 72, people are doing crossword puzzles and sitting at local diners just giving up on life. And he's out here just changing the world one tweet at a time. By changing, I mean turning it into an uproar. Terrifying everybody.
I can't even handle Twitter for 17 to 18 minutes.
I know.
I tried today. I tried to get on Twitter and try to do a whole thing with it, and then I was like, I'm bored with this. And it was about the whole the shooter at the newspaper.
Oh, the Capitol.
Yeah, and I just
Annapolis Capitol.
I went to go read the comments, and I was just so annoyed by it.
Well, the problem with that one, and as soon as it happened, the problem with that is that the media and politics have had such an awful relationship lately with the whole fake news and media's the enemy that you knew that this was going to be a different instance of violence, and it's just a bummer, regardless of the stakes attached.
Well, they're going after Twitter now because apparently for 6 years he's been tweeting hate to this paper.
I mean, you should see a lot of the nonsense people tweet.
I know.
It's arbitrary what they enforce.
Is it Twitter's fault?
Well, it's their fault when they arbitrarily enforce who gets booted or counts suspended.
Do we even know what we were gonna talk about?
Yeah, I got plenty of stuff.
Okay,
here.
go.
I'm in the middle of, and I did this because I want to help out my little brother Killian at his wedding, because I didn't have a wedding. I had a courthouse marriage. And we did that for a lot of economic reasons and just practicality, and just you run off to a courthouse on a Wednesday. And then we went to a brunch and had a bunch of people out, and it was fun. We had a good time, and it was cheap. But I feel like the one thing that I did is that I didn't give anyone in my family that wedding of, I'm the oldest grandson, I'm the oldest, cousin or whatever. And so my brother Killian is now engaged, and he's doing it the traditional way, where you have a wedding, you invite people. And I wanted to help out because I wanted to be a part of it. So I'm paying for the beer and the wine and doing all that stuff.
So that there's an open bar at the reception?
Of course. Okay. Mainly for me.
Right.
More for me than them, I'd say, at this point. But it's becoming kind of a pain in the ass for me because I just want to buy the wine. I find wine places. I'm like, let me just buy a bunch of cases of this. And they're like, we need to sample it first. I'm like, what do you need to sample for? It's red.
Oh.
But I guess that's how it works. I didn't go through a wedding, so I didn't know.
Everything needs to be sampled.
Yeah, you got to sample, you got to test it, you got to taste it and stuff. And then I'm finding what's interesting is that now I'm vicariously living through the situation with my brother, and my mom is super into helping with the wedding, which is great to a point.
Yeah, to a point. Mothers are always great to a point.
Well, they both have mothers that are great to a point in terms of helping. And I I laugh at it because to me it's like, wow, I totally didn't have this experience with mine because one, I didn't tell anybody. I just went and did it and told them. I think my mom found out on the radio in Seattle. Like somebody, my friend Jessamine was coming down for my wedding, for my courthouse wedding, and he's like, someone on the radio, like one of her co-hosts was like, yeah, aren't you going out for Brian Moote's wedding? And on the radio, like live on the radio on a sports station in Seattle. And then someone called my mom, I think Brian's getting married. And then my mom hit me up like a day and a half later. Was like, did you get married? And I'm like, yeah, about that.
About 12 hours ago.
You're going to meet her during Thanksgiving. Isn't this going to be
She's going to be a hoot.
And you guys did the same thing, right? Or did you have any sort of family involvement?
No, yeah. So we decided that we needed to get it done. We wanted it to be super quick and quiet, and with the intention always of having a bigger one later, actually.
Have you guys have not done that?
No.
Have you worked on that plan at all? Like workshopped it around?
My marriage is in shambles. But the wedding was great. It was my daughter. She was about 1. Yeah, she was 1, and so that was kind of interesting, holding her and carrying her around.
Right.
But we just got together at my agent's house of all people, and he married us, and his husband witnessed it, and his daughter witnessed it, and then we
You had no family with you guys?
Nope, just me, Nikki, and Declan. Yeah.
Rolled in
a
and did
beautiful $10 million mansion built on the backs of radio personalities.
Well, that's, I mean, at least you got some value out of that.
I was like, please don't invite me to your house anymore.
No kidding.
You complete jerk.
You're like, I'm having trouble with rent right now. You're like, yeah, I feel that agent game is where you got to be, man.
Yeah.
I've realized that in my wise years of working in the business, is that because you just take a commission cut out of everything, which it's great. I just need a bunch of clients.
Yeah.
I'm starting to negotiate. There's no reason I can't negotiate contracts for people.
You've done enough of
I know
them.
contracts.
Yeah.
I know what they look like. I know that the legal jargon. And if not, you just got to fake it till you make it. And if they're in a bad contract, that's your contract, not mine. Whoopsies.
Make sure you get that check in on time.
Sorry about that. Yeah, so I don't know. I think that listen, I feel like the reason that some of the helping out thing is annoying me is because I want to just get it done. Like, I don't have a lot of time to be waiting around.
Right.
And I also don't want to blow it. Like, I don't want to get there, they're getting married Labor Day weekend, and have a situation where they're like, oh, what happened to the beer and wine? I'm like, oh, it's on its way.
I'm running to Ralph's in a little bit.
Exactly. I come to 19 24-packs of PBR, and I'm like, got it. And they got coolers and stuff.
Honestly, your brother would love it, and his wife would be like, what just happened?
I mean, his future wife, Catherine, is awesome. She wouldn't say anything to me. She would say it's awesome. She'd be like, how'd you guys know? We live in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. You guys brought a little piece of hipster Brooklyn to us. But I want it to be impactful. Like, I want it to be maybe I'm overthinking it now because now I want a high school friend of ours, a mutual friend whose husband manages a winery in Yakima, Washington. I want to get their wine.
Yes.
I'm trying to get a brewery in Atlanta, that Sweetwater Brewery that I love, that has been super cool to my brother and I. I want to bring that beer out, ship it out.
Yeah.
And it's July, and the wedding is the end of August. And gauging from the stress everyone else is under, I got to ramp my stress up a bit. Because apparently, I like to do things last minute anyway, and apparently, I've already hit last minute planning. I don't even know it yet. That's how little I know about weddings, because mine was so last minute in general. We put the whole thing together in 2 weeks.
I'm going to have you plan our vow renewal.
It's easy, dude.
My
Just
wife
throw it
and
a
I.
party, bro.
Party on the beach, bro.
Party, bro. We'll just go. You know what? I'm going to go to my agent's house. It's a $10 million mansion.
Listen, I've been to your agent's house.
In
It's
Malibu.
very nice.
I've never been there.
It's great.
I've seen pictures of it, and I ask them, yo, am I not important enough? And they're like, yeah, we already got you under contract. So.
Yeah, he was courting me.
Yeah.
I was trying to court him, let's be honest. He's really good.
I was being a bit of a clinger. I was just showing up. Hey, can I mow your lawn?
No, seriously, your agent's really good.
Eric? Yeah, Eric's the best.
Here we go.
Well, Heather's a gangster, too.
Brian Moote is a stand-up comedian. Brad Nolan is a stand-up dad. The Brian Moote Show with Brad Nola.
I like how we put all our biggest fears in the imaging.
That's right, man.
I'm Brad Nolan, and that's Brian Moote, and I am a stand-up dad.
Commitment, intimacy problem.
Yeah, but I'm just
intimacy problem sounds like I have problems doing it. Not knocking that out of the park.
It's problems feeling it while doing it.
Yeah, feeling feelings.
Right.
Feeling the feelings. Getting all the feels. I hate that phrase, all the feels.
Yeah.
It sounds so Amber Alerty. It gives me all the feels. Put this guy in
It
jail.
didn't until 5 seconds ago. I was like, you're right, it does.
You're going to beep in your head.
I try to be a stand-up dad, but you can only do so much as a father.
Dude, God, come on. I mean, what? You got to raise them.
You gotta
hug them, and you got to listen to their jibber jabber as if they have anything important to say. That as a dad, you just sometimes have to, when your kids say just completely asinine nonsense, you have to be like, yeah, that's a neat thought that means nothing.
No, I just go, okay.
When they discover something.
Yeah.
Like, hey, feet are weird. Totally, man. You don't even know the half of it yet. Wait till your feet are old and gross. Wait till your toes start going the wrong directions. When you start jamming them in heels. Does Nikki wear heels? Does your wife wear heels?
She used to, and she's getting back into. So
back into the heel game. Yeah. My girlfriend wears heels a lot, and I think the number it does on people's feet. She makes fun of me because I don't have much of an arch. And I'm like, that's not really fair because you look like you have an arch because you've been walking on your tiptoes for 17 years.
That's really what it is.
Yeah, so your toes curl up and you know what? You're just not comfortable. My feet they don't have a lack of an arch. They're just eased into the floor. They've just kind of
Have you ever worn heels?
Yeah, I actually did. I would wear heels. We did this thing on the Burt Show in Atlanta called Live Like a Woman Week for the radio.
Ooh.
Where for an entire week we had bras one day. I'd have a maxi pad in my pants for a day. I had to shave my legs one morning. I had to get a Brazilian wax. That was the worst one, the Brazilian wax. That hair that they pulled out of my butt was growing since I was a baby. So moment of silence for that. That hair is gone forever. But I had to wear heels too, and the problem was I didn't think that Kristen, my co-host at the time, was going to be able to find heels for me because I have size 14 feet and they're wide. And so I thought I was going to escape this whole heels thing. And we had to wear heels, we had to wear a skirt, and we had to wear a wig. Flat out, straight up drag,
Yeah,
right?
just straight up drag at that point, yeah.
Which in the South is a different endeavor than it is in Los Angeles. Out here, it looks like I'm in the business. Out there, it looks like someone's gonna give me the business. Anyway, she found a woman who was 6'4", my height, who had size 14 feet, but they still were too thin, narrow. So I had my pinky toe was just kind of chilling outside the heel the whole time. Wasn't quite committed to the whole project.
Oh, that's a great visual.
All right, so what I want to talk about, I saw this article, and I know, Brad, you're pretty passionate about dogs, especially pit bulls and pit mixes.
Yep.
And I saw this article, and it's very interesting to me because I'm a big Delta fan. I fly Delta a lot from living in Atlanta, and they've always treated me nice, and I feel like they always do the right thing when it comes to decisions about what's happening in the news and current events like morality or things like that. They're very good. They have a very good finger on the pulse of what the right thing to do is. And I saw this article that they have now, for service dogs, they have now banned pit bull breeds. And I guess at this point they're just looking like anything that looks like a pit bull. Like if you bring a dog in that looks like some sort of pit bull. Right. So, but there's a lot of derivative pit bull breeds that have that. The mastiffs, bulldogs.
I had a pit bull shepherd mix that was a service dog.
See, but here's the thing about it. And I've had my ex-wife had an emotional support animal. He was a Shih Tzu, and I love having dogs on planes. Bring more of them on planes. They make me happy. Now, to a certain extent with the size. Now, one time I saw a lady who had a Great Dane, and I had to be moved.
That's a little bit much.
I had to be moved on a plane, and I was super annoyed because I had a window seat, and I had to be moved to a middle seat, in the back of the plane. And in my mind, I thought to myself, if this plane goes down and I survive, like the movie Alive, I'm eating that dog.
Yeah.
I'm eating that giant dog.
Absolutely.
So I saw this story, and it kind of, for an Atlanta-based airline, the amount of grief they're going to take, crap they're going to take over that is going to be huge. Pit bulls are a very popular breed in the South. It's a very popular breed now for people who just really appreciate that breed of dog. And now you have people who virulently defend pit bulls because they have that stigma of dog fighting, of being aggressive.
Yeah, but that's the human thing. That's a humans creating terrible dogs.
That's people training dogs.
Yeah.
Now, I would say, let's not be stupid. When people say pit bulls they're angels. Yes, any dog is what you train them to be.
Yes.
The problem is that pit bulls are just stronger. They're just a stronger breed of dog. Like, if a pit bull snaps, it's going to do more damage than if my stupid blind chihuahua snaps.
Correct.
Who genetically has no eyeball usage. She could try to kill me. God bless her. Sometimes she's like kind of chomps on my hand. And I'm like, I wonder if she thinks she's trying to hurt me. She doesn't have the strength. But I do. See, I'm in the camp of people that any dog is a reflection of their training.
Right.
Now, I've experienced in the past with friends, they've had pit bulls that became food aggressive when they became older, but then a lot of dogs.
Yeah, but again, food aggressive for a Chihuahua and food aggressive for a pit bull are two different
and you got to
worlds,
handle
right?
them as such.
Well, look, and we had to put my service dog Chopper, out at a sanctuary in Napa Valley. We had to get rid of him, so to speak, because when we moved from a big house, into a tiny LA apartment, he couldn't handle it.
It wasn't good. It wasn't for him.
Yeah, he was just like, I don't know what to do. I can't function in this. And so we had to help him out and put him out on a farm.
I just find the whole concept interesting of banning certain breeds, because if it's I think that all service animals should be, and there's a difference between service and emotional support.
Yeah.
It's the services they provide, right? Like a CNI dog is different than one for emotional support. But I don't care what breed of dog it is. I don't care and what spectrum it's on. It has to be well trained.
Like, for example, my dog was a seizure alert dog because my wife has seizures. He had to go through training on that. He has
to know the signs.
Yeah, he will. And when she's about to have one, within about 45 minutes or so, he will go and lay on her.
Wow, that's interesting.
So now we just have to be cognizant of the signs because we don't have them anymore. But
yeah, but he's gone through some training and some certification. I think what happened is people took advantage of the loopholes. I know I kind of did with my ex-wife, but she legitimately needs a support dog. Like, she has emotional issues when it comes to flying, to anxiety and life in general. And so Norman the Shih Tzu was great, but we got him licensed as a service dog while he was in the UK. And then brought him back. We didn't. So we got him licensed here as if we had him, and took the paperwork with us to the UK, and then brought him back as if we brought him to the UK. So we basically smuggled a Shih Tzu out of the UK and brought him to America. It was a real crazy little loophole we found. Yeah. And I felt like, okay, man, I have a social work degree, I have a psychology degree. This needs to get tightened up a bit,
right? Just
in terms of the training and in terms of the proving that you need one. And I know that they can't. It's very sensitive. They can't ask you like what is it that makes you need a support dog. It's embarrassing, and you have the right to your privacy when it comes to medical. If you are licensed to have one or have the paperwork for it. But I just think that the level of training to do that needs to be more. Because I saw this wacky poodle at the airport bouncing all over the place like an idiot, and then took a big old steaming dump right in the middle of the airport. It's like, there's no way that dog is trained for whatever you are claiming that dog is trained for. And I just think when it comes to pit bulls, man, it's the training. And I know that they've got a bad rep with that, but, so do certain people. We don't. My dad went to prison. Does that mean that I should be banned from planes?
It's like Michael Vick is banned from looking at pit bulls.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's not even allowed to look at them in the streets.
Isn't he
at
really?
this point? I don't know. He got the dog fighting
Actually,
thing.
it'd be funny if you did. That was a real thing. They're like, close your eyes, Seth. Officer, he looked at my dog. I don't know why I went to British on that. It just made sense at the time.
All right, you ready for the last
Let's do it!
You're listening to The Brian Moote Show with Brad Nolan.
Yeah, it's Friday.
What's up?
I'm Brad Nolan. And that's Brian Moote.
Hitting that horn for Friday. World Cup. We are in the throes of the World Cup.
The throes.
I am way more invested than I thought I was.
Yeah.
I've been a mad hater about how, we shouldn't care in America. Oh, you know what though? Let me walk that back. I still think that we need to point a finger of shame.
To the American team?
Shame to the American soccer team, to Team USA for robbing us of the joy of being able to go buck wild at 7 a.m. on a Wednesday, and a reason to call out of work for America. For America. And it's during the 4th of July week. I mean, imagine July 2nd, Monday, July 2nd, and America's playing at 7 a.m. And who are they playing? Oh, snap. They're playing England. Well, hello. Okay, now. I mean,
we've been here.
Oh, I would love to come to work today, but this is the revolution round 2, my friend. And we don't get that because they couldn't qualify, which just drives me crazy. But what I'm finding is, one, I'm full-blown Team Mexico. And I don't mean to make it sound like it's a disease. I'm full-blown Team Mexico. I'm all on board, man.
It's funny, too, because we work in an environment where literally 50%, probably, you think? Every other person at our company is Latino. Maybe more. Maybe it's more.
Or Latino of some level of Latino descent.
Right.
Or been here long enough in Los Angeles that they are in Latino communities. And it is big. It's a big deal.
It's hard not to catch that fire they're spewing over the World Cup stuff.
I got a Mexico jersey. I went to a watch party that Amp Radio sponsored last Saturday or 2 weeks ago, and I drank about 25 Modelo's, and I wore a sombrero.
And you were turned into a meme.
I was turned into numerous memes about white people abandoning America and joining Mexico, and I'm proud of that. I'm sure that'll go viral again on Monday when Mexico plays, or when Mexico played Brazil, played, whatever. As long as Mexico's in this thing, I will still be a meme. And I'm proudly waving that Mexican flag and blowing those horns and cheering and jumping and doing the songs. And at one point in time, there was a cheer that in Spanish that the white guy knows what's up.
Yeah, the whole bar. Was it 1,500 people in there?
At least.
They were just chanting the white guy knows what's up in Spanish.
I was nervous for a bit because I thought that they were making fun of me. And they kind of were.
Right.
But here's the thing with the World Cup now, not having Team USA in it, is that I'm enjoying. I've got bets. I've got Team France going all the way through. I've got pools going. I've got rooting interests now.
Yeah, you don't actually have any loyalties.
My loyalties to the dollar bills.
Yeah, so now you can just root for whoever makes sense for you, which is cool. And for me, I've never even experienced anything World Cup before, ever. I never cared, never did want to. But now I'm like in the throes of it, and the thing it makes me think of is like, I kind of want to be a foreigner.
Right.
Like I just want to have an accent in a different country.
After I went to Amsterdam last year for Christmas, I was like, I could live here. I could move to Amsterdam. Yeah. They speak English perfectly. I learned Dutch or whatever they speak. Nether. I think it's Dutch.
Pretty sure it's Dutch.
But I loved it. And I've decided that in, 2020 or 2022 is the next World Cup. I'm going, if Team USA doesn't make it, I'm going to a country that has a strong World Cup team. And I'm going to go to that country and I'm going to sell all fully out and vacation and just be there and go crazy because it's so fun. But I saw Hope Solo just came out recently. It was last week and made some comments that kind of coincide with exactly what my opinions have been in terms of America just being a bunch of slackers, not being able to make it. And she said that we've turned soccer into a rich kid's sport out here in America. And it really has kind of become this sport of I don't want to say prestige, but it's of luxury. You know, it's not a sport. And I would say that a lot of kids that play soccer, they don't have to play it to survive or play it because they don't to try to get out or try to make a better life for themselves. They play it for fun. And they're just great athletes. We have great athletes in America. But our great athletes are
lazy.
A lot of inner city. Well, they're inner city kids, and they play every day because that's what they do to, one, find a way out of the situation they're in, and two, to keep themselves from getting into trouble. And a lot of kids are encouraged, no matter your ethnicity. But if you're in an at-risk youth situation, man. Sports is how we connect with you kids. It's how we keep you from falling into those bad activities and realizing that you have a greater purpose.
Right, but is what she's saying is that those aren't the people that are making it to the teams?
Nah.
Yeah.
She's saying
it's
that
the rich kids, the lazy rich kids.
The rich kids are going to these camps and doing all this luxury stuff and they're playing in all these select leagues and they're playing each other, but really they're not playing the best athletes. Our best athletes are not playing soccer because we've turned it into such a kind of a I don't want to say luxury, but it's almost like a niche kind of sport where it's like,
it's like a lacrosse type thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, super expensive.
LeBron James would be the greatest goalkeeper in the history of goalkeepers if he played soccer, but he plays basketball and he's the greatest basketball player. He'd be one of the greatest if not the greatest football player, wide receiver or something. He just would be that level of athlete. Unfortunately, our athletes aren't going into that. Baseball has this problem too, because it's also another sport where you got to buy a ton of gear and you got to go to all the camps. And it's also been framed as kind of a sport, not for rich kids. She might be a little strong, but for people who have the ability to drive their kids to all these select games.
Well, think about the American version of a soccer mom. Just the visual you get is a very nice van or the Range Rover.
Dropping kids off at different places.
The kids off.
You're coordinated with your neighbor Debbie to make sure her kids get home too.
But in other countries, in the reality, or even in this one, right, in inner cities, like you said, it's not that.
No.
It's I'm going to grab my bag of soccer gear and I'm going to walk my butt 10 miles because this is important to me.
Right. Oh, and that's for leagues, but you're talking about just playing like at the park.
Right.
You know, it had like in other countries, in Mexico, in Brazil, soccer becomes a thing that
in
they
the
play.
Street.
Yeah.
Literally.
You have to play there, and it's a sport you have because they don't have a basketball hoop. We put hoops in every park in America has a basketball hoop. Right. It's easier to put a basketball hoop in on pavement than it is in unpaved areas. And in Brazil and stuff, you have a lot of just dirt lots that kids turn into soccer fields. And it was received with some huge backlash. And she's like, listen, I'm not saying we can't be great at soccer. I'm saying the way we framed soccer over the last 15 to 20 years has been very a luxury-driven sport. Soccer mom, you nailed it, right? And she said these other countries. And the funny part was the person interviewing was trying to lecture, like, what do you know? She's like, I played all these countries. I've been to all these countries.
Right.
I don't know if you remember a little winning World Cup team we had a couple years ago with the women, but she's like, I played all these people. I know their backgrounds. And I know the backgrounds of the women that I play with. And the women that I play with weren't playing in the slums of Brazil to survive and thinking like, oh, my God, if I play every single day of my life, like I will be able to someday go overseas and make money and support my family and support myself. They were like, this might be fun to go to college on a scholarship maybe. You know, like
what's this or tuba?
Tuba. I'd say
clarinet.
more the clarinet.
Clarinet. Yeah.
It's more of a clarinet thing. I think it's got to be an attitude shift. I think that soccer blew up. We love watching it. It's been a fun sport, but I think like America peaked, and I think we're going to start getting our asses smoked by all these other countries, but we're going to be a country that consumes it. And until LeBron James starts putting his kids in soccer camps, you know what, LeBron James? You're the problem with America. You're the problem with Team USA. Put a James kid on there.
The Brian Moote Show with Brad Nola.
Venus, your style guide for fun, sexy style, is getting you ready for shorter days and cooler weather during the annual Venus Fashion Week event. The new Venus Fall Fashion Collection has arrived, and it's a perfect time to get amazing deals on new styles that have made Venus famous from weekdays at the office to weekends on the town. Shop hundreds of new fall styles and get $15 when you spend $100, $30 off when you spend $150, and $50 off when you spend $200 or more. Just go to Venus.com or download the Venus app and use the promo code SWEATER to save during the last days of Venus Fashion Week.